many good things about digital art is the fact that you don't have to draw the same figures over and over again. A good drawing of your character's face can be copied and pasted an unlimited number of times. This is great for two reasons. Number one, it saves time, and number two, it gives you a consistent look. For each of your characters, create a portfolio of faces. You'll need both a variety of angles and a variety of facial expressions. For example, facing forward, which we will call front, profile, which we'll call side, and a three-quarter profile, 34. Make these three with neutral expression, then a talking version, talk, plus any other expressions you might want, like shouting, smiling, etc. This gives you 3 by 3, which is 9 images in total. This might sound like a lot, but once you've done it, you never have to draw them again. Obviously, each profile and three-quarter shot can be flipped horizontally if you want to change them from left to right. Make sure you make the face symmetrical, and then image, transform, flip horizontally. Also, don't reinvent the wheel. When you create the neutral image, you only have to change the elements that you need rather than redrawing the whole thing from scratch. For example, for a talking version of the face, the only thing you need to change is the mouth. Keep the eyes and everything else the same. Another thing to consider is the position of the eyes. If you draw a character who's looking directly forward, out of the panel, this is what we call breaking the fourth wall. It looks as if she's looking directly at the reader, which you probably don't want. Breaking the fourth wall is breaking the imaginary barrier between the reader and the characters within the fictional world that you've created. You might want this if the character is talking to the reader, if they are narrating the story, but usually people don't want to do this. The only other situation where you might have your character looking straight out of the panel is if you're depicting the story from the point of view of another person that they're talking to, or if you are representing them on a TV screen of some kind. Mostly you'll want your character to be looking in the direction of other characters or events that are happening within the panel. A way to avoid having to redraw the person's eyes and or face for different expressions is to create a movable template. Make 2 copies of your original image. In the first, block out the eyes with a solid colour. In the second, isolate the eyes and draw the whole of the iris. You might want to redraw them on paper, or you can just create perfect circles in Gimp. Okay, so we're going to use the paintbrush tool, create a new layer, select a sharp-edged tool for the paintbrush, and increase the size until you have the right size to completely cover the iris, the coloured part of the eye. Make a black solid circle. Now reduce the size by about 10 pixels and choose the iris colour. Reduce that further to make a smaller black circle for the pupil. Now choose white or an off-white to fill in the rest of the layer. Now copy your face with no eyes and paste as a new layer on top of your floating eyes image. Select the solid colour here and edit clear. Now you have a template with eyes that you can move left, right, up and down. Save this as moving eyes, and you can now use this to create any number of images from that one file. One other thing you can do to very easily change an emotion expression is to change the position of the eyebrows. Raised eyebrows can show surprise or shock. Lowered eyebrows show confusion or suspicion. Lowered eyebrows angled down towards the nose shows anger. Okay, so now you have a steadily growing portfolio of images of your character, and she can look in different directions. But what if you want her to look up or down? Well, you could redraw the whole image again, which would be a lot of work. Or maybe you could scan the image again at a jaunty angle on your scanner, but you still have to fill in all the details. We're not going to do either of those things. We're going to cheat. Open SketchUp, create a simple block. You put your image onto this block. Select the whole block or just the surface. Use the protractor tool to rotate the surface in any direction you want. Now zoom in to get maximum resolution and screen grab. On a PC, press the print screen button. On a Mac, Shift-Alt-3. Now you can open the image, cut out the bits you don't need, and then you have your rotated profile. If you want to make faces which are consistent and detailed, it's usually good to work on them at maximum screen size. You can then draw the bodies separately and join them together by resizing the head. Usually the head will be about 1/5 the height of the body. The only problem with this is that the line width will be different and it will look very strange. Your character's body will be made of thicker lines than the person's head. A way to fix this is to create a version of the head with much thicker lines, which you can then superimpose on the original headshot. Take a pure black and white version of the head and use Gaussian blur. About 2 points to 3.5, then filter, artistic, cartoon. Both values to maximum. Now copy and paste this onto the original, select the white and edit clear. Select all, copy visible and paste as new image. A quick note on resizing. If you need to resize an image more than once, always go back to the original size first. If you go to 90% and then from 90% to 50%, you will lose quality. Think about how your character's body language expresses the tone that you want to get across. If you're going for a realistic or semi-realistic style, it's a good idea to use reference images. This is particularly true when you want to show action shots, like for example a fight scene, anything with a lot of energy or movement. For most of these, the images are fairly easy to find on the internet. Just type in man running, etc. For fight scenes, you can use images of boxers or martial artists, etc. Videos are also a good source for this. You can play the video, pause it where you need the particular shot. Sometimes you might need to use a bit of imagination if you can't find what you're looking for. For example, if you want to find an image of a woman flying through the air like a superhero, but you can't find it, think about what else that kind of looks like. And for example, search for an image of a woman swimming underwater. The face is the most emotionally expressive part of the body. The second most expressive part of the body is the hands. So pay particular attention when you're depicting the position and the attitude of the hands of your characters. A clenched fist shows tension, splayed fingers shows surprise, etc. It's worthwhile looking at reference images to get the positions right. If you can't find what you need, you can ask a friend to pose for you, or you could pose yourself in a mirror. Even better, you can film yourself. You can then play back the video, find the exact shot you need, and then work from that reference. QuickTime is a good free application that you can use for this. Body language is very important. If you want to convey a tense atmosphere, you don't want a character standing in a relaxed pose. Look at pictures, for example, of sports players during a game, not running or kicking a ball, but sort of standing on their toes. Their arms and legs are slightly bent. They're in a kind of like expectant kind of pose, waiting for something to happen. Imagine how you would feel in that situation and try and put yourself in those shoes. And then look at yourself, feel how your body is in that situation. That's all for now. I hope you found this useful. And if you have any other ideas of your own, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.